Five, four, three, two, one. We have ignition. Strap in. You're about to listen to the hottest sounds.
Dream Catcher Radio.
Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually, you've been planted.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You could stare me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I'll stand my ground. Won't be turned around, and I'll keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground.
Okay, we are back for the Ralph Christie Injustice case. We are now on episode 35. That's 3 and 5. Now, the one thing that's quite interesting is some of the correspondence that I'm getting in, and I've not had the chance to digest it, which is somewhat relevant to this case as to character and conduct. But I'm planning to do that over the next few weeks. To look at all the correspondences that has been sent in. It's not just one person; it's actually two people now. Where initially it was just one. Now, good afternoon, Ralph.
Hi, brothers. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How's things going your end?
Well, yeah, it's going very well. Obviously things closed down for August here because a lot of the legal teams and the courts shut for a month. So we're just trying to tie up where we are. It was 6-month year end of June. Quite a bit to get through in the next 10 days, but yeah, everything's fine. And of course, it's holiday season, so there's quite a lot of people here. I've got friends coming and going. So it's all fine.
Do you get many what do you call them? Ships coming to like your harbours?
Well, yeah, you get them. You get
ships and that.
You get 3 or 4 a day coming into the Hania Suda Bay. Big ones. Really? Yeah. It's big business for Hania, and of course they're going to Heraklion and Agi Nikolaos as well.
I must admit, I did enjoy my very, very short stay there. I did enjoy it. We must have went to, you call them taverns, about 3 or 4 taverns in a day, just to try different bits of food. We weren't like being greedy or anything like that. We were just having nibbles, so to speak. But the food was amazing, and it was just so relaxed. It was bizarre for me. It was alien-like.
Yeah, and we have the farmers markets with fantastic vegetables on it, all fresh, all from the local area. It's good. It's fine. So it's a way of life that I wanted. It's just a shame that all this nonsense has come from the UK, and it's still going on. To be fair, I've been here 24 years. I know how it works. There's many people I've tried to help, and then they seem to be helping them, and then they go off on one and what have you. But the people that have the faith in me and are stuck with me, we'll do all right out of it. A lot of what's come out with the program and going through the Greek trial, and then the role that Cedric and Cameron and Declan played in 2014 to save their asses in putting me into prison, knowing that I was innocent. A lot of that's kind of come out now, and a lot of it's on TikTok. Got a lawyer in London interested in going after at least half Declan and Cameron's business. Rightfully so, because obviously it was me that financed it and put him into Common Road in Bradford in 2011. After he worked here with me for a couple of years, that's Declan, of course. And
Declan's your son.
Yeah, and then obviously we know colluded with Cedric in 2014 to make sure he went down. We knew Cedric was a criminal, obviously from his investigations by his police force in 2008, and Jarl had reported Cameron and Declan, Cameron Cedric's son, for credit card fraud and theft, and a couple of other things in 2013. So yeah, it's quite obvious that they scapegoated me. Oh, my appeal's in, by the way. That's in, and Jeremy Moore said he'll come on the programme in a couple of weeks to explain what he's done, if that suits you, Bradis.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Be interested to hear from him. I'll be interested in how he's going to do the appeal, under what statute, because I don't really understand that.
Yeah. But, well, at the end of the day, Cedric and Declan and Cameron, it's quite obvious what they've done. They can't deny anything. They don't come back. They don't say anything. They won't answer the phone. Any advice I would give to, especially to my son Declan, is just come clean and make a confession. And I think at the end of the day, things will go easier on him. But if to continue to ignore, and then if the NCA get involved, which have been put on the standby that they are already involved, it'll look worse for him because he's continuing to hide. And there's no doubt about what he's done in jailing me with the lies and the assumptions that Cedric and him put into the CPS in April 2014, and changed various defence witnesses like Pat Brownette and Dave Francis, Matthew Clark, Benedict Clark, Paul Walker, Tony Wormald to prosecution when they were going to be my defence witnesses.
Yeah. In terms of moving forward, though, I'm guessing that's probably your first stroke. Obviously, we've got in the background, we've got this criminal complaint on behalf of Jane Thomas, which is ongoing. And she's sending lots of information. A lot, actually, in fact.
Yes, I mean, we must have dedicated 24, 25 programmes going through what she's been through. She was in contact with me regularly, and we would discuss what we would put in. My lawyer managed to get a lot of papers out of the family court, you remember? And, we were very much on side helping her. But in the last 3 or 4 weeks, just like some other people, she just made some outrageous statements about me, which are just not true. So she's
made outrageous statements about you, is she?
Yeah, she has. Yeah, and we at the end of the day, we've been trying to help her. I mean, she's accused me of being associated. I think even with Simon and Stephen Thomas beforehand, that I knew about the money and was hiding it, in cahoots with Alistair Bateman, the criminal lawyer for Stephen Thomas, that's been protecting the rapist for 10 years. It's married to the CPS, or 20 years, married to the CPS lawyer, Suzanne Hoy. So, it's just, there's just no stability there to, or even any energy to really kind of assist her at the moment. I mean, obviously, we had this route, didn't we, that we thought if we get Simon and Stephen Thomas done for what they've done, that it would assist me. And I agree with that and went along with it. But if that's the case, obviously, Jane Thomas and I have got to be singing from the same song sheet, but
maybe you should have a chat. I mean, my thinking was that Jane Thomas's case is low-hanging fruit to get a conviction, and where yours is a little bit different. And
I think coming back to that, Bradis, I think there was Cedric and Cameron and Declan's all criminality now that's known. I think this is low-hanging fruit. And we know that Cedric picked the judge in May 2014, which is the same judge that gave him a commendation, which was Judge Dunham Hall. There's a massive conflict of interest there. So whether the trial should have gone ahead after we've just had 2.5 weeks talking about a Greek trial that apparently Andrew West said never happened. Then we got the collusion that it was actually Cedric that appointed Tayyab Ali in January 2012, getting rid of Richard Butters, who was a long-term friend and senior barrister in Leeds that I was going to use. And then, of course, Cedric appointed Stephen Grattidge in March 2012. And both of these guys, with Cedric, helped me clear my name here. They visited me in prison, worked with Sophos. And then Cedric appointed Chris Tarani in November 2014 to be my QC. And then we also know that Tayeb Ali knew that Cedric was causing problems behind the scenes at the start of the trial. And then Tirani said that I got convicted for embezzlement 5 days into the trial. Complete nonsense. Grattage said you don't need defence witnesses because what the prosecution witnesses have said in the witness box already will get you not guilty. So Cedric's completely run the show. My defence, from 2012, in helping me here, and of course to protect his own criminality, has used my own defence. So the whole of everything is now out in the open, down to your programme, what we put on TikTok, what we send out on the weekly letters. So to me, it's not a matter of it's if, it's when.
Yeah, I kind of get a vibe on that. I mean, I go back to the Greenfees case. It's when now, basically. It's being attacked on multiple angles now, through exposure, and because one thing that's really interesting, I think you've probably experienced the same. If you go back to the Greenfees case, is that through hearing documents orally, like you do, in your case, you don't realize that how things have gone so wrong. You just know something went wrong, but you don't know. And it's until you discuss it in a clear environment, like we've been doing on the radio station, you kind of think, like, what the hell? I didn't even realize that.
Why did the judge knock off 242 days for time spent in a Greek prison if he didn't even know there was a Greek trial? It's just complete lies. And like I said, the conflict of him giving Cedric a commendation and then Cedric being the officer in charge again with Ramona Senior in 2014 of Operation Langan, when it started with investigations in him to 2008. We've read out the transcript. There was no convictions. I was fully exonerated, as it's clearly stated here. Why would Tirani say that I was guilty of embezzlement? Simply because he's part of the inside job that it was.
Okay, let's carry on with this week's episode. And we normally go through your latest email, which you send out. So I'll allow you to go through that email.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is subject is 9 months and 68 hours of broadcasting with Dreamcatcher Radio and still nothing back from you, Tayeb Ali, and my SH1T head brother, Bent Copper Cedric. That was the subject. Episode 34, Dreamcatcher Radio, 9th of the 7th, 2006, 4 o'clock p.m. London. And then I'll send the link for YouTube. Tayeb said, Dreamcatcher Radio have exposed the sting that you set me up back in Bradford, Crown Court in 2015, since recording started last October. This was to protect you, Cedric, from going down for being corrupt for decades. Your son Cameron and my son Declan for credit card fraud, theft and money laundering in 2013, exposed by our nephew Yal and other members of the public. We have now had 64 hours of play time, along with over 100 emails going out since last October to you.
That sounds inappropriate, that does.
Does it? Yeah. But exposing ITN Solicitors London, Exchange Chambers Leeds, the prosecution, West Yorkshire Police, my defence witnesses who you, Cedric and Declan lied to in 2014, turning prosecution, and His Honour Judge Durham Hall, all dancing to your false narrative. The last 3 episodes, transcript attached so people can obviously read it as we're going through, I've been dealing with the Greek trial September the 26th to October the 14th, where said you were an unused defence witness and Stephen Grattage and you, Tayeb, were helping Dr. Sophos correctly clear Jane Snowball of fraud, money laundering and embezzlement against the Republic of Greece and the self-confessed rapist Stephen Thomas, his brother Simon the scammer, and the lies of Sue Watt and Neil Waite. We still need another episode at least to conclude the coverage of this Greek trial. Tayeb, why did you rather protect all these known criminals, preferring to work with them in 2015, scapegoating innocent me? What I am saying is factual, the real truth and very much now public knowledge across Europe, if not the world. The public, your victims, and I need answers, Tayab. 13 years to the day, you visited me in prison in Greece for the second time as my international defence lawyer and dealing with Jane Snowball's illegal European arrest warrant with Dan Jones, Dr. Sophus, and SH1T head brother of mine, Cedric, at the time. Just let that sink in, Tayab, and end this farce that Simon Thomas started in April 2006, created the scam with Stephen and Sue Watt in May 2009, and after I was rightly fully exonerated here in 2013, Cedric, Declan and Cameron, to protect their criminality, picked up the baton. Please respond, one or both of you, as it is your mess, Tayab and Cedric, not mine, and signed it off. So sent that out, not heard anything, but how long does that go on for? I don't know. But the thing is that they're all criminally involved together. So really, they should all be arrested, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like you say, time will tell. I mean, it's a right proper sedgway and dilemma, really, that they've got. And in all honesty, I'm not surprised that they remain silent, because any decent lawyer would tell you, go no comment, don't say anything. So you don't. So
he's issued two apologies in writing to Jane Snowball and me in 2020. He's done his confession in 2021. Now that's 5 years old, isn't it? Because it's July again. In fact, he did it July the 21st, 2021. So that's 5 years old. Don't know what his health's like. I don't know if he's still got his police burnout. Still don't know if he's depressed. Don't know if he's still suicidal. Don't know if he's on the run, thinking that people are after him. But it's all out there, and yeah, if he needs some help, really, he should be. If he listens to any of this, he probably just buried his head in the sand, hasn't he? But anyway, we'll keep batting on. We'll batter the door down at some point, Gladys.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to finishing off from last week. It's very short. So we were reading out the court transcripts from last week. I'll just read it out for the sake of it. It was very simple. President of the court declares the defendant not guilty, and of course the public prosecutor shall agree that there was no grounds for granting damages as the defendant. It's really interesting, though, from last week's episode, where even the prosecutor said this case should not be brought before the court. And it reminds me of almost like a private prosecution, but in the criminal courts, which is interesting. And the Safos says, in any case, there wouldn't be, Your Honour, culpability. This means that there is no such thing. The judge says, basically, this means that you were rightly taken into custody, to put it briefly, because you left, and explain that to him.
So that's Sophus explaining to me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Keir Starmer letter came in that we mentioned in 2011 that turned the simple civil case criminal, because that was full of 50 lies. So, you know, that they were saying, well, because of the context of that, they had to take me into custody. So
are you looking to go through this Jeffrey Brown document?
But no, I just wanted to mention that we spoke, didn't we, about Jeff Brown's letters to West Yorkshire Police in 2020, 2021. This is part of his statement, and we only have to read the bit that I've highlighted, where
I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, DC Skidmore categorically says in Jeff's interview in 2014, well, Jeff actually said, for any amount of money, I need it right, you know, and this is not happening. That's, you know, and Ralph has said, which again is plausible, at the moment, any funds I've got is tied up in various land deals, hotel deals, buildings, whatever. And so DC Skidmore says, well, Ralph can't move anything. Jeff says, yeah. And Skidmore says he can't move anything at the moment because I've frozen his bank accounts in Crete. So he's actually boasting that he's done it. contrary to what Percival said, there was a legal representative for West Yorkshire Police in his letter to Jeff Brown in 2013 saying that West Yorkshire Police never froze any of his bank accounts. So I thought it's quite interesting that we actually read that out, Bradders, because it's actually the police officer admitting that he froze the bank accounts in October 2009, which crippled the companies and caused all the carnage.
Well, I remember in one of the episodes, I can't remember which one, they actually denied they had any involvement in freezing your bank accounts.
Yeah. So I thought it's quite key that we just put that in. Yeah. And then after that, we've got this email from John Jessup on the 29th of September 2009. Read the fraudulent email. Now, obviously, we know that Sue Watt wrote this letter and sent it out in the name of John Jessup. We read that out on a previous show. I think that's back in episode 7. And this is what, after John Jessup received the fraudulent email from actually Carol Barnes, sent it to John, and I was with John at the hotel where we were staying at the time. So it's quite obvious that John never wrote it. But so John Jessup sends this out to the shareholders and what have you, 29th of April 2009, 12:43 in the afternoon. Dear all, further to my email last night, I can now confirm that this matter has been reported as a malicious communication to West Yorkshire Police and has assigned a crime reference number. I made the report to the officer named in the fraudulent email, Charles Skidmore. Should you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to call me, John Jessup. Okay, so there we've got two interesting things here. 29th of September, John Jessup's reported that Sue Watt's fraudulent email that we've read out in previous shows to Charles Skidmore. And this is 10 days before Charles Skidmore himself freezes the bank accounts on the 8th of October 2009 that he's just admitted to Jeff Brown in his interview. So I think it's quite relevant.
Okay.
Okay. So the next letter is a bit lower down, and this is a bit more from John Jessup. Mr. Skidmore, thank you for your email. I have been advised of another fraudulent
just
email.
One question. I'm trying to follow where you're at. Because there's a lot of questions here on Tayyab Ali. If I scroll down after your email, whereabouts are you?
I've just gone down from the script that you read out.
I've got here directly afterwards. Tayyab Ali is an internationally recognised and highly respected solicitor advocate.
We're back on the attachment. We're on the attachment I sent you now that you just read off.
Oh, sorry, I apologise. Okay, all right. Let me just go back.
Yeah, you go back to where we just closed off with the Greek trial. You've got that bit from Skidmore.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Carry on as you were.
And then you've got the John Jessup letter to the shareholders, and then email from John Jessup to Skidmore personally about this.
Yeah. I'm there now.
I've been advised of another fraudulent email purportedly sent by me. The contents appear the same as those recorded, but a second email address has been used. The email address used in this case is JM Jessup, blah, blah, blah. I have not registered this address either. As such, I do not know whether this should be regarded as a separate incident or otherwise. Please, perhaps you will let me know. This email has
remind me who John Jessup is, please.
John Jessup was my co-accused in the Greek trial and my co-accused at the UK trial. He was the guy that was helping set up the UK Plus market. And correctly, he was found totally not guilty of any crimes in either country.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Okay, so this email has a later time of day than the others, and the reference to +1 hour also suggests that it could have been sent from abroad, which, if correct, implies a possibility of all this being the work of more than one individual. Well, yeah, because Michael and Kimberly Thompson at this stage were driving back from Crete after breaking into my house, again on Skidmore's orders. And so if they were travelling through Europe, they would have been 1 hour ahead, which was possibly on the email. So, and then the actual fraudulent email was sent out on Monday, the 28th of September at 21:56 plus an hour, which was the letter that we did read out in a previous programme. And then moving on down, we go through the list of the Veron, which we've done on a previous program. But what I'd like to read out here, there's a letter here. Attention investors. Have you got that, Bradders? Second page up.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Okay, so this was
Over
actually
the past few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Attention
you want me to
investors.
read it out?
Yeah, just let me just clarify this. After Percival sent out the email to everybody saying that he hadn't frozen the bank accounts in December 2013, this was also sent out by, which we would, by the way it's been written, will have been again Sue Watt and Michael Thompson and Kimberly Thompson. So yeah, read this out because it's obviously from somebody that's against me.
Okay. This is from Jessup, and it copies in 1, 2, 3 people.
No, you're at the second page up from the bottom.
It says attention of Placis Palace shareholders and other investors.
I read that out earlier. Just
Oh,
before.
sorry. I need to go down further, do I?
Yeah. Attention investors. Past all of their own stuff.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see this. Quite a long document. Okay. Yeah. We're so well prepared on this show, I assure you. We received an email a while ago with many attachments. After reading this email several times, we are sick of hearing all the excuses. That is someone else's fault. This is old hat now, and it's time they tell the truth. Trying to blame other people just doesn't wash. My suggestion is, why not get a job and work for what you want, like the rest of us have to do? Who's this to?
This is to all the investors in Placis Palace.
Who wrote that?
It's Kimberly Thompson and Sue Watt and Michael Thompson.
And she's telling the people to get a job.
She's telling me, she's saying to the people who else should just get a normal job like the rest of us. I've had a normal job since I was 18 years old.
Wow. And she's actually saying this. Oh, what, she's talking about you specifically, or she's telling the investors this?
She's talking about the whole case, telling all investors to rally over with their side and all become prosecution witnesses. This is 2013, 2 months after I've been fully acquitted with Jane Snowball in Crete.
Wow.
So obviously we've won the case over there, and they're trying to rally everybody to go against me again. And still very few did, over until Cedric turned the 6 or 7 that we mentioned earlier.
All right. Okay. It goes on here. This is an important bit, actually, just reading it. In our opinion, the Christies are disrespectful to all of us. It doesn't seem to matter if you've known them for 6 months or 20 years. And it's block capitals now. In the past, we've asked for our money back. Was she an investor as well herself?
They've got a conviction against me. These are the people that broke into my house.
Yes. Okay, fine. Yes, our money. It seems WYP have frozen, that's West Yorkshire Police, have frozen assets and bank accounts. And this is why the Christies cannot pay us. I decided to write to West Yorkshire Police and ask for confirmation of the truth. I've now received a reply which states West Yorkshire Police have not at any time done what Mr. Christie is accusing them of. You're laughing there.
Well, because we've just read out DC Skidmore in his interview to Jeff Brown saying, yes, I froze the bank accounts.
There should not be any reason not to pay us. Open brackets. I've enclosed a copy of this reply, close brackets. The Christies should admit they were wrong and do the right thing, because we've all waited long enough. We personally have no reason to lie and have proof of what we gave the Christies. Ask Mr. and Mrs. Christie for proof of where all our money has gone. We can all tell stories without any evidence to back them up. Ask him
Yeah.
about gambling, taking out more and more mortgages, getting into more debt, but still keep taking money and squandering it on living his high life. Did you have a high life, Ralph?
Not at all. Not at all. It was all built, all I'm hoping to give people a better standard of life over here.
Mm.
And we just, I mean, she's written that this is 2 months after I've been acquitted in Greece. So it's obvious I wasn't lies. The only people that told lies was Sue Watt, Neil Waite, Simon Thomas, and Stephen Thomas. That's why they couldn't turn up. So
Yeah, when I met you there, you had a modest car. I can't remember what it was. It was an old car anyway. The and I didn't even think it had air conditioning. I can't remember.
the windows up.
The windows open. So I don't know where how you live at home. You've got big mansions and all that sort of jazz. I don't know, but you didn't give the impression that you were rocking and rolling and
No.
buying Rolexes and handbags.
I've never been fancy with the money. Obviously, I've dealt with a lot of money, and we'll go on to later on to how we wanted to secure it all. Exactly for the likes of these people, even though they've gone prosecution, which is exactly what we were trying to do with Darren Brown in September 2009. So no, this is very interesting, isn't it? Because
Yeah, this is interesting actually. Yeah, we haven't got a lot of time, so let me just have a quick check on time.
my guess is that where all
Yeah,
our money,
I know where we're at, yeah. My guess is that where all our money is gone, or it's in a box, in a deep hole somewhere in Crete, so they can carry on living from it. Yes, we are bitter and angry, and rightfully so. The money was our pensions and life savings. The latter end of that is all in block capitals. There is a police investigation. Do you think for 1 minute the police would be pursuing this line of investigation for no reason? Again, block capitals. We are quite surprised how certain investors have decided to be spokesperson for Mr. Christie. But there can only be one reason for this. They either are personally involved with the scam or have been paid off. Well, being paid off, that's a good thing, isn't it? Why else? The question I have to who did you give the money to? I know we gave ours to nobody else other than Mr. and Mrs. Christie. The picture
exactly,
that
they get €200,000 sterling in January 2008. They had 150,000 sterling back, which was evidence at Bradford Crown Court, and they took an apartment from me for €120,000 in Cockanahorio. That comes to the grand old sum, if you allow the €120,000, let's say 100,000 sterling, that comes to 250,000 sterling. So they made 50,000 on that deal.
right, the picture they've painted was just a front to make it appear all our money was safe. They were living in Crete, so it must be good. What does that even mean?
I'm still in Crete, so it must be good. Well, it is good. They should have. They should have come here and I mean, they helped build the squash court. He was the one working for Veron on certain funding and what have you. He gave talks and that sort of thing. And but of course, they believed Simon and Stephen Thomas in June 2009 because they had a meeting with them and then demanded all their money back from me just overnight, just like the Thomases did in May 2009. So if they hadn't been so stupid and followed them, we'd have continued to do the flotation. They knew I went to Australia to meet the Ministry of Oman representatives. Everything would have happened. But then, of course, they're part of the fraudulent email that went out in September. They broke into my house. There's no doubt about it. They should have been in. They should have been in court on the 14th of January 2014, 3 weeks after they've written this. So, I mean, it's very good to read stuff like this out because it just shows how far off the mark they are. And no doubt the two Thomas brothers, to keep them on board, have probably paid them off to keep them to go to prosecution.
Yeah, Fancy Villa, which tells you're investing in Crete, is a good option. The squash court, you would not go to the expense of doing this if the business was not doing well. However, remember, this was not their own money which was being spent. Now, let's pause there. We need to go to a break. And Ralph, do you want to introduce your first song?
I do, yes. I'm quite interested in your programs about religious sects and sect and that sort of thing, which I'd like to come on and have a talk, because I was born into a sect which was the Exclusive Brethren.
Oh, we're talking about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how that came about, Ralph. Yeah. One of the presenters sent me a message saying they've got a guest coming on and interviewing about Jehovah's Witnesses and the fact that it's a cult. Now, it was just a text message, yeah? Right? And then I'm scrolling through TikTok. All I get while scrolling through is Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it links it. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about Jehovah's Witnesses, and I've learned so much. And it is a cult.
Any sort of religion where you need to go through a person to speak directly to the Lord is a sort of cult. That could be, it can be the imam, it can be the priest, it can be the man of God of the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Exclusive Brethren, that sort of thing. But you can just bypass all that and just have your own relationship with the Lord, and it's as simple as that. That's what keeps me going. I don't need to go to a church because I know God's everywhere.
Yeah, I think there's a higher power and that sort of stuff. But the thing that fascinated me the most is they believe the world's coming to an end every 5 minutes. And yet they're buying more and more properties all the time. I'm thinking,
the world will come to an end. Nobody knows when it is, and you just got to be prepared. But if you're saved, it doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah, but why buy property if the world's coming to an end?
The Jehovah's Witnesses actually believe that heaven is on earth, so that they believe that the saved Jehovah's Witnesses will still be living on earth. Us, as people of faith, believe that we go to heaven and live eternally in heaven. So that's the main difference between Jehovah's Witnesses and...
Well, I'm still learning. I can't wait to listen to the episode. Anyway, that's going to be Kim and Carl, Ripple of Transformation on Dreamcatcher Radio. Let's play your first song.
Yeah, well, it was a religious song, and it's Madonna's "Like a Prayer," which is it's quite interesting if you listen to it.
That's an old song.
I'm quite happy to pray with you when you next come over, Bradders.
Yeah, I'm up for anything really. Oh, well, not literally. That sounds.
We can have one over. We can have a raki and a prayer.
Yeah, no thanks. Well, saying that, I'll end up doing it again.
Life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I hear you call my name, and it feels like
Dreamcatcher Radio is about capturing and creating dreams through music, chat, and debate. Empowering expression, enriching society. A go-to place for unsigned musical talent. A radio station which listens to its audience. Free speech, vibrant, engaging. Stream worldwide 24/7. Events, competitions, promotions. Always keen to have a listening ear. Contact us. hello@dreamcatcherradio.com.
Dreamcatcher Radio.
Okay, that was Like a Prayer. Now, Ralph, can I just ask you a question about two things?
Yeah.
I know it's totally off topic. Is Jehovah Witnesses, because I've only recently learned about them, but also people who claim to speak to the spirit world. Have you got an opinion on any of them? I'm just intrigued, to be honest.
Well,
Like
I think
tarot
it's
card readers and that sort of stuff.
I mean, I'm not. No, I don't agree with that at all. But
What do you mean you don't agree with what? I asked you two questions, so let's do one at a time.
Well, tarot cards is you might as well just turn over a pack of cards, haven't you, and guess cards on those because it's a pack of cards is a pack of cards. Luigi boards or whatever they call them. Again, that's people that can. So I'm not saying that if people believe in that, that's fine. I think life is a bit about being at peace with yourself, isn't it, and your own faith. And I don't think it's really right to ram other people's beliefs down. I mean, a lot of Christians and Muslims are perfectly capable of living together. 99% of them with no issues whatsoever in any country. All this that's going on now is being blown out of proportion, mainly because certain countries seem to want to create unrest and warfare. But any normal Muslim and normal Christian can live together perfectly well.
I will say on that point, including our own country as well, and especially America as well.
Yeah. So it's all about having faith. I mean, you don't even need to go to a church. It's nice to worship with fellow believers, but it's not the be and all end. If you can, I wouldn't have been able to get this far without with all this that's gone on if I didn't have faith, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to carry me home. We talk about the horrendous thing that's happened to Anne Widdecombe. At the end of the day, she had faith, so she obviously believed she's going to visit her mother and father and other family members in heaven, which is again what I believe. I just hope that the likes of Declan and Cameron and Cedric can get forgiveness and be saved themselves, because you have to remember the disciples themselves. A lot of them committed horrendous crimes themselves before they actually turned to the Lord. So, and there's forgiveness for everybody.
Yeah. I can't remember what my second question was. What was your question?
You mentioned something about tarot cards, didn't you? And
tarot cards and something else.
But the programs that you do on the radio, Gladys, I'm quite happy to speak to your presenters about it, and not to just to say, well, this is how I see it, and this is how they might see it, and at the end of the day, it's all about communication. Can only help each other, can't it?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that you're coming on the radio station, aren't you yourself?
Well, we're going to try and do a program, aren't we, based on Crete with my footballing mate Mario and Gita. Yeah. To hopefully do a 2-hour weekly show.
And you're going to be talking all things Crete.
Well, I think a lot of it will be Crete and advertising and what we do for people and how you get through all the red tape here. But also, I think Gita can do a bit of what she does, which is she's an excellent vegan chef. She's got her own beliefs with her own spirituality. She's a big supporter of woman power as well. yeah, so I think it'll just be, and Mario's got his own contacts. So yeah, just see, have probably a three-way conversation and just see how we get on the first couple of shows, and
Yeah,
hopefully leave it to us.
his studio looks very impressive.
Yeah.
I even sent it through to Lord Little. I said, "Have a look at this."
Yeah. I'm just sat here with two laptops and that's it, and it seems to work, doesn't it? So I don't think you need all that old technology
Well,
now, do you?
that's my place. I've got three laptops, and that's like kind of overbearing in itself. The
Yeah.
but yeah, that studio was very impressive. But he's got a history, though, isn't he, Mario?
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's a
yeah.
very likable chap. I mean, some people don't like him, but I've always liked him. He's always got a smile on his face and what have you. And he's had pubs in Cyprus and that sort of thing. Uh, and I think he's worked for Rod Stewart and there's some other big bands in America. So yeah, I think it could be hopefully a bonus for me, for you, and for Mario and the radio show program.
Mm. I know you spoke to Michael. I didn't know this, but who's one of the presenters on Dreamcatcher. Yes, he had a conversation with him. Um, I don't
Good.
know how well that went, but
Yeah, well, we're seeing him tomorrow, so hopefully we'll all have a conversation tomorrow to see if we can get the first show out.
yeah. Okay, so that'll be coming soon on Dreamcatcher Radio. I quite like the idea of. I don't want to use the word that I used when we were talking about it. Um, free. I used the word threesome. I'll be honest. It'd be good to have a threesome on the radio station because we haven't got that.
Mm.
But that has a negative connotation to it. But I think the what I meant was having three people's different opinions,
Yeah,
which I think would be great. And I know Mario's on about doing call-ins and all that sort of stuff, which I think would be cool as well. Okay, let's go back to this. So we talked about the squash court. The squash court, you would not go to the extent of doing this if business was not doing well. However, remember that not their own money, which has been spent.
yeah. This is complete bananas. I've sold my farm through the land registry in the UK. You can check that for 495,000 sterling. The so-called village is talking about cost me 350,000 from Alan Thompson in 2003. Okay, it's probably worth a lot more than that now. The squash court cost 120,000 to build. It was and classed as one of the best ones in the world. It was built for my son Declan because he was actually playing as a number two for Greece there internationally. David Campion, the national squash coach, had a house in the next village or a villa in the next village. Marcus Berrett, who was the national coach for Italy, was visiting at the time. Lots of squash players were coming over, and it was just built with the right intentions. Obviously, since all this has gone on, it's just been left to rack and ruin. In fact, it was Michael Thompson that helped build it with Harry, my builder. So, it's complete nonsense that it was other people's money that built it.
Is that in Crete?
It's in my garden in Cockanahorio.
Oh, it's in your garden. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Does it get used?
When we talk about going on to the plus market, of course, this is exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to build €100 million company or sterling company based on the UK stock market, plus market, to secure everybody's money. And having a squash, the most squash courts in the UK are actually in Mayfair, mainly because it's the game apparently helps deal with stress if you're dealing with money problems and things like that.
Right. Okay. So it still exists, basically.
Yeah, I think we're going to probably flatten it now, though, because if I sell a villa on it, it's probably classed as an illegal build.
Oh,
That's another problem, really. But that's just how it is here. So number 4 is a very interesting matter that's been risen about dear Cedric.
his brother was a high-ranking officer in the West Yorkshire Ford Squad, using friends, family, and acquaintances to attract more investors.
What's wrong with that? It's just normal business.
I mean, I'm all for networking. I tell people all the time. And that's what frustrates me about people sometimes is they don't like asking questions and they don't like networking and they wonder why they're still standing still in life.
Yeah,
The way you build what your wishes are is by talking, communicating, expressing ideas,
yeah,
and seeing if it matches their thoughts and feelings. I don't
yeah.
agree with scamming and that sort of stuff. I'm not saying that's relative to
No,
you, but what I mean is that I know people that have business ideas, and I'm saying you need to talk to people about it because I know lots of people with
yeah,
money, right,
mm,
and they don't know what to do with it,
yeah,
um, and they just keep hold of it because they don't know what to do with it.
yeah. Well, yeah, you
The
did a little video, didn't you, 2 weeks ago about that? And I put a message in and says, "Well, I'm very trustworthy, but I just tell them to get in touch with me in Crete."
Oh, did you? All right. Okay. Yeah. But basically they just don't want the hassle of stress and that sort of stuff. But they've got money.
Mm.
And they genuinely just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
I mean, I just sold some shares in was it EasyJet that just got bought out?
I don't know.
I think it was EasyJet. Yeah, I think it was. They just got bought out. And it wasn't a lot of money, but and I didn't even realize. Um and it's only when I was looking at my pension account, um,
Yeah,
I saw that they got sold. I'm sure it was
yeah.
easy. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Let me just
So,
Google that actually.
so number 6 is interesting.
Number six. Okay, you carry on talking while I just Google this.
Okay, using photos of themselves and their young son, who would be Kenton, to appear to be a happy family. Well, we're a happy family. There was no problem whatsoever. Declan was coming over. Lauren, my daughter, was coming over. Even my ex-wife, Debbie and Pete, came to stay with us. So there was absolutely no issues within the family. So why they would say to appear to be a happy family, I don't know. Number 7, business cards, brochures, and websites. You think they must be doing well to have all these tools to back the business. A while ago, we noticed another website, propertiesinCrete.eu, using established companies as a front, Cretan Life and Flowers and McEwen's. I wonder if the people who own these legitimate companies actually know whom they're dealing with. Well, it's just absolutely nonsense. It's just normal marketing procedure. Cretan Life, I started that with Hugh Clark Williams in 2005, which we've spoken about in previous programs. And then Stephen Thomas bought me out for 820,000. Unfortunately, Hugh Clark Williams died. I think it was 2011. And I think they've got lots of problems with their land over here, which I've offered olive branch to try and help them sort their mess out, which I probably
So
will
I've
do.
just scrolled down here. It's signed off by a fellow investor. Who's the fellow investor? Do you know?
Well, we'll get to that at the end. The fellow investor is Michael and Kimberly Thompson, and who's written this in. Because you can tell by what they're actually writing in this. But they're being prompted by Sue Watt, who's just apparently been to Crete and got threatened and had to run away and all the rest of it. So they're just coming up with more. I mean, any normal person would say Michael and Kimberly Thompson, wouldn't they, and sign it off? But it's all just been done cloak and dagger.
Okay, the I'll carry on now. Whining and dining, open brackets, you have all seen the jug on the head routine. It's impressive, wouldn't you say? But
It's,
it's
I
all
did the job on the head routine yesterday. It's perfectly normal behaviour in Crete when your wine bottles, when your litre of wine or half a litre is gone, you just put it on your head and the waiter comes over and fills it.
yeah. I don't really know what relevance that has to this anyway. But when you look as it like that, it does not sound too impressive anymore, does it? Close brackets. Travel business in other countries. Can't you see this just makes them look good and gives the impression they are doing well? This is you and your wife at the time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they're talking about. I have been to Australia to tie up in a Ministry of Oman deal for 25 million. I went to Gstaad to tie up a deal there with Pat Brownett of Howard Tennant. John Jessup came along, Stephen Thomas came along, met Primo Fratelli, who was a fund manager. I can't remember other places. I've been to Turkey. Of course, that's exactly what you do if you're going to grow a worldwide international company.
Ask yourself, how were they doing all the above? The answer is with other people's money. This is what fraudsters do. We have been doing some of our own investigating, trying to get to the truth about it. Was not that difficult to find some answers. Looking at the email, we can see quite a number of discrepancies. There are just a few. To our knowledge, there are no investments in Greece funded projects. The UK investigation.
Well, let's just stop there, brothers. To our knowledge, there is no invest in Greece projects. Michael Thompson was working with Sue Watt and Stephen Thomas and myself, which we've read in previous meetings. Sue Watt gave a glowing reference in March 2009 about me. So to actually put this in and to say it wasn't happening is just complete nonsense. We must have spent 100,000 plus getting as far as we did with investing in Greece. 19 million was ring-fenced, according to Sue Watt, in December 2008.
The thing that discredits them is the fact that you have many transactions in Crete, and there's nothing, basically zero, zilch, nada, complete nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can only read out what's written here. The UK investigation has nothing to do with Cedric Christie. Huh? So they support Cedric, do they? The UK investigation has nothing to do with Cedric Christie and his previous cases. What does that mean?
Well, Cedric's turned turtle at this stage, hasn't he? This is December 2013, just before I'm held on remand with the lies of Andrew West to Judge Thomas on the 9th of January 2014, where Andrew West clearly says Cedric States changed sides. So obviously here, Cedric's come back from Greece. We've won the case. Is Michael and Kimberly Thompson and Sue Watt and Cedric and Declan are probably now all in conversation because Cedric's, we know, is a self-confessed criminal copper and he was investigated before me in 2008. Should have been in prison at this time. Declan and Cameron have done this credit card fraud and theft and whatever. So, in fact, this is, again, reading something out on the radio. For them to mention Cedric twice means that Cedric is probably behind actually sending this letter out.
Well, it gets even better shortly. I've just been reading it. But basically, the UK investigation has nothing to do with Cedric Christie and his previous cases, alluding that he had cases against him.
Well, yeah, of course. He was investigated by Stephen Taylor, wasn't he? Ingrid Lee, Francis Norton, in September 2008. So, yeah, this is, again, we've got another golden nugget here just by reading through something that's just we've just kind of got to in episode 35.
All right. Well, here we go. Gets even better. Nor does it have anything to do with Stephen Thomas and his divorce. Really? I think it's got a lot to do with his divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tax bill.
Yeah. Open brackets. I think it is disgusting to discuss other people's personal information on an email to many others, close brackets.
Yeah, so it's talking about me exposing.
Does he not think Stephen Thomas is disgusting and vile?
Yeah, exactly. And Cedric's done his criminality. Cedric did a full criminality in 2012 before this went out about Stephen Thomas's rape cases, the embezzlement, the hiding of money. So this is.
So you think Cedric wrote this? Do you?
Well, I think this was December 2013. So yeah, this is quite obvious that Cedric has probably met up with the Thompsons at this stage. And bear in mind, the Thompsons have no debt with me. Cedric knew that they hadn't bought an apartment off me in May 2009. And then they just aborted it all after they had that conversation with Stephen Thomas and Sue Watt and Simon Thomas. I think Stephen Thomas's mother was in Almeida in June 2009. So they're in a right mess because Jane and I have just been fully exonerated in Greece. I'm back in the UK when this comes out.
It goes on. This is interesting as well. He uses the word our. In our opinion and our knowledge, Stephen Thomas was not a partner of the Christies. Oh, excuse me. Even so, we did not give our money to Stephen Thomas. This is weird. This is a really weird document.
Yeah.
Really
well, Stephen Thomas was a partner. We've just had evidence in the trial that he set up Monte Crete with Neil Waite and myself in 2007. And then he had 47% of the shares in Veron in 2008. So, yeah, this is just protecting the Thomases, isn't it? It just shows how they've been suckered in.
And Cedric as well, it appears. But it doesn't, I mean, me, to be honest, this is like talking to the winds. It's a ridiculous document.
Yeah.
How can the bank accounts be illegally frozen? Surely well, it says as, but it has to be proof. Facts supplied.
Which we've done it. We've done that in numerous programs on here. It was frozen. Skidmore's just admitted
Yeah, but
it.
this is an old document, so it's irrelevant in terms of this bit. I've personally met some of the people who have been being discredited in this email, and I find it very hard to believe the accusation against them. Where's the proof? Who have you discredited?
Well, this could be actually Mario Cercioni, who was blackmailed around this time as well. So he was probably in cahoots with Cedric, because he met me, did Mario Cercioni, on the 21st of December 2013, and I did a deal with him to protect over 100,000 euros of his money and giving him a house for 20,000 that he then faxed to DC Skidmore on the 8th of January, which led to my second arrest. And we know that with evidence in previous programs, and Paul Walker's admitted it, that Mario Cercioni was blackmailed in January 2012 when the one and only count came in then regarding Benedict Clark, that if he didn't go against me, that he'd lose his farmhouse and everything else, his businesses in Halifax. So it could be him. But it's interesting, isn't it? It's so important.
Who do you think it was? Sorry, who did you say you thought it was?
Possibly Mario Cercioni.
Yeah, but this is not a legal sort of wording, but I'm guessing because he's not English, maybe not word it correctly. Yeah, I doubt it, to be honest. I doubt that. Because it's not probably, it's not legal verbiage that you'd use.
No.
In my opinion, but yeah, okay, fine. If Benedict Clark was so happy with his investment,
number seven, to be honest.
Oh, the Stephen Thomas trial is a civil case, and the criminal case was taken to the court by the Greeks themselves.
Exactly, because of the lies in the Sue Watt, Kimberly Michael Thompson, Keir Starmer letter in February 2011. That's why they made it a criminal trial, so we know that. Yeah, Stephen Thomas's was always a civil case. It should have only been a civil case in the UK.
If Benedict Clark, that's true. Actually, I agree with you on that one. If Benedict Clark was so, actually, that's a really good point, right? And we kind of alluded to it on the last episode, is that it should have been a civil case. Stephen Thomas was an investor, and he wanted his money back.
The partner, he was a business partner with evidence that in Monte Crete and Veron.
Yeah, and he wanted his money back. And because he then chose an alternative route in order to basically evade tax, he decided that he will make a criminal complaint. And he successfully succeeded in that.
To D.I. Taylor, when D.I. Taylor knew that he had already raped his wife in April 2006, along with numerous other police officers.
I've got loads more, Ralph. I've got loads more than you know, on my phone in relation to his conduct. He's been arrested so many fucking times. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I haven't committed any crimes, and I've been arrested and I've been cleared by the Greeks, and then I have all this stupid trial in the UK in 2015, led by my brother Cedric and my son Declan.
What's extraordinary is that she started building evidence while still in a relationship with him. And she's got loads. And more so after, which in old of her, it's about police corruption and cover up and that sort of stuff. Yeah. But she's got loads. She's got loads. Yeah. She's astute in that regard. Yeah. Okay. If Benedict Clark, sorry.
Yeah, number 8. Yeah, you've got it.
Yeah, if Benedict Clark was so happy with his investment, then why in the UK trial set for 2014? I don't understand that question, to be honest.
Well, that was the one count that was outstanding. I've just been cleared in Greece, so that was all fine. The one count to settle now was Benedict Clark, April 2014, which I went on to get not guilty for that in January 2015. Of course, we now know that Cedric and Declan introduced all these other 18 counts in April 2014, and the trial was put back, which was exposed in other programmes. So the whole of the UK CPS, the West Yorkshire Police, the bastards that started all this with the Stephen Thomas and the Simon Thomas cover up, like Michael and Kimberly Thompson and Sue Watt, now are really on the back foot, just thinking, well, we just got to, we can't give in now because Christie's going to sue us further on, and we're going to have to. He's already invoiced them like nearly 30 million from being in prison because they'd lost all the investment. None of these losses are down to me. It's all down to these complete idiots, and it's coming out even more. And, so Benedict Clark was so happy with investments. So why is the UK trial? So he was happy with it. It was TC Skidmore that told him that I'd robbed his money off it. And then I tried to sort it out with Benedict in December 2009 by giving him some land for 700,000. Skidmore said he couldn't take because it was probably money from crime. Everywhere you look, it's just nonsense.
Okay. We feel quite angry that we and our, there's multiple people that they're referring to, I guess. We feel quite angry. This is why I say it's not a legal sort of letter or correspondence, because you define we, multiple people. That's the sort of verbiage that you'd normally expect. We feel quite angry that Mr. Christie seems to think this ordeal has only affected him, his wife, and disrupted his infant child's education. What about all the people that have taken money from them?
Yeah, it's just nonsense. We've just been cleared in Greece of taking 1.1 million off Stephen Thomas. We're going to go through the plus market and the costs that we'd set up for that 300,000. We've gone through the costs of buying the Takis Palace Hotel, the costs of going for money to get an environment impact study done, the cost for Manfred and Sue Watt to go to Athens for investing in Greece, the wages that she was on, 3,000 a month, the wages that Michael and Kimberly Thompson were on, wages for me, wages for Jane, wages for Stephen Thomas. It's just, what do they think? Things like this cost money, but if they'd have stuck with me, everything would have been secured by the plus market.
Another point I'd like to bring to everyone's attention is Plackers Palace. The site has been taken off Mr. Christie by the bank and sold. You say different on that regard, don't you?
Complete nonsense. The auction was for the 15th of January 2014, 2 weeks after this letter that I was supposed to go to with Matthew Clark, who was Benedict Clark's brother, Pat Brownett, Charles Zanakis, to get the hotel that Dr. Femi Sophos had set up after the trial in Greece to keep the hotel going. So this is just lies.
I've actually seen that site. It's pretty crappy, to be honest. But anyway, it seems that this is due to non-payment of the loan.
Non-payment of the loan because West Yorkshire Police froze the bank accounts. but the bank never hadn't taken it off me at this date. It was because I was put in remand in HMP Leeds on the 9th of January to stop me coming over to do exactly what I should have done. And bear in mind that Kimberly Thompson and Michael Thompson were due in court for breaking into my house, stealing 28,700, downloading my computer and taking my hard drive from September 2009. So again, it's not me that's the criminal. These are the people that are the criminal, but for some reason, the likes of Cedric, Declan, Cameron, Michael and Kimberly Thompson, Simon and Stephen Thomas are all avoiding jail for crimes that they've done and scapegoating me.
If you thought your money was invested in the project, I think you can safely say your money is gone. It looks like there is no money or assets at all. Now, if you go back to what previously said, you own nothing in Crete, yeah? This contradicts that because it suggests that you did have an investment, just standalone, right? Just use that as an example, in Placas Palace. So you did have investments in Crete, but this person or persons, he actually signs off a fellow investor, but he refers to we and our and that sort of stuff. But effectively is what I call an oxymoron. It contradicts itself.
Yeah. Bear in mind the bogus letter that Sue Watt wrote, I'm with this person in September 2009, was again saying that Placas Palace wasn't owned. I didn't own anything in Crete. Everything was a scam. Police were investigating Cedric at that stage. And then the Keir Starmer was following the same route. So again, they've dug their own grave, haven't they? By trying to be clever.
This is an amateur letter. I've just read the next paragraph. Carry on, Ralph. Sorry, I'm just annoys me this sort of stuff.
Well, let's go on.
No. Carry on what you're saying.
Well, I kind of finished on that really to say that all the bogus email, the Keir Starmer letter, and this is all being written by the same kind of theme.
Okay. From what we have found out from Mr. Christie, again, we did not walk free from the Greek trial with an innocent verdict from the jury. We personally know why, but it's not for us to disclose that information. I suggest you ask Mr. Christie why. What a fucking pricks.
Absolute idiots. You know, Sue Watt couldn't turn up, Neil Waite couldn't turn up, but Stephen Thomas didn't turn up because it was all based on lies again from 2009. But
moreover, right, you're looking to lay down the gauntlet, right? But to lead people to say we've got all this information on you, why not share it? Why not share it? And then they come out with that one. I mean, the person that drafted this or persons that drafted this, in my opinion, are plebs.
This was police approved as well. This was police approved to be sent out. It was sent out at the same time as Percival sent to Jeff Brown stating that West Yorkshire Police hadn't frozen the bank accounts. But just come out in the Greek trial that they had. It's absolutely it's just a great own goal. Actually, rereading this, I didn't expect it would.
It's definitely not written by a lawyer anyway. That's for sure. But the point being, right, is that they're trying to scaremonger investors and alike, but then come out with that sort of line.
But what was just read out?
Personally know why, but you know. I suggest you go to Mr. Christie, who's apparently the criminal, who will just lie to you anyway. So what's the point of going to him? Why not just tell us?
We started the programme, didn't you, where the prosecutor found me, Jane and I, totally innocent in Greece, the start of this programme. So it's and she or he's saying, or they're both saying that I wasn't found innocent.
Okay, we've only got a few minutes left and we've only got 2 paragraphs. So let's just try and quickly wrap through them. I mean, this sort of thing annoys me like anything. And he signs it off a fellow investor. It doesn't, why? Just say who you are, you weirdo. We ask ourselves every day, how the hell did we get involved? I know some of the investors don't even answer their phone anymore when they see Mr. Christie's number appear. Can you blame them when they know it was just the same old excuses. Let me just carry on for a moment. We wanted to make everyone aware of our findings again, and have sent this letter to anyone who may be invested their money. We know West Yorkshire Police are dealing with the matter, and DCI Stephen Taylor is contactable on, gives his mobile number. We have our own opinion of what's happened here, but we will definitely be speaking to the police regarding this matter, as we are not getting any further. We do not wish to be contacted or influenced anymore. Don't know what that means. This is why we were supplied our details. There's no details here. Okay.
I'm not
fine. Ralph, you got 2 minutes. The floor's yours.
Okay, well, so obviously this has caused a panic, hasn't it? Jane and I being fully exonerated here, fully cleared here, money laundering, embezzlement, fraud, the whole lot. And there's just this one count that's going to be heard in April 2014. So this is where I'm arrested twice over this Christmas. This letter's gone out with the backing of West Yorkshire Police, Cedric. That's quite obvious. And they're not prepared to offer their details. I mean, if they were speaking the truth or they thought it was any correction, you would just sign it off. Michael and Kimberly Thompson, Stephen Thomas, Simon Thomas, Sue Watt. You know, if you wanted, but there's been no truth in anything they've said ever since May 2009, and there isn't today. And not one of them's even contacted your radio program with any backup. Everything has just been based on fiction, lies, mischief, deviousness. And I've lived through it, and I can still hold my head high and meet any of these people and say, why did you ruin everybody's life when we could have all continued? I mean, if they're criminals, I wouldn't have wanted to deal with them anyway. So, but they've all shot themselves in the foot, really. Okay,
we need to go to a break. What is your next song?
I'm going to play the Beatles. Don't Let Me Down.
All right, we're going to play that now.
Like she does. Ooh, she does. Yes, she does. And if somebody loved me like she does, ooh, she does. Yes, she does. The first time, don't you know it's gonna last? It's a love that lasts forever. It's a love that has no past. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. She really done me. Ooh, she done me. She done me good. I guess nobody ever really done me. Ooh, she done me. She done me good. Don't
Hi, it's Steve Little here. Rev to some people. Just telling you about my show, Steve's Sunday Service, every Sunday between... Oh, wait a minute, I'm not having this. Join me every Sunday morning between 8 and 10 o'clock for some of the most uplifting Christian songs you've probably ever heard in your life. We'll have thought for the day, we'll have readings, we'll have Bible stories, but we'll have everything connected to you that will help you get to church on a Sunday with me, Steve Little. Yeah, Steve, Reverend Steve, with Steve's Sunday Service every Sunday between 8 and 10 o'clock, only here on Dreamcatcher Radio. Play it, boys.
Soul is full, my lips will sing your praise.
This is
Dreamcatcher Radio.
Okay guys, I'm going to tell you how to listen in on Alexa. You will need the Alexa app, so download the app to your phone. Once you've downloaded it, click on it and it'll open up, and then scroll down till you get to see more, so it's more for you. Click on see more, then search Alexa skills, add Dreamcatcher Radio, and then you'll see Dreamcatcher Radio, and just click on it and launch it. It'll ask you which device you want to play it on. Click on it, click launch, and that's it, it's done. And then once you've done that, all you need to say to Alexa is, Alexa, open DCR. And that's how you're listening to Dreamcatcher Radio.
Okay, we had quite a long break there. But that was the Beatles there that we just played for you on Dreamcatcher Radio. Hope you enjoyed it. We've got some more documents we're going to go through. Do you know what thing that I find really interesting, right? Not so much in regards to your case, but the other case that is going on at Dreamcatcher Radio at the moment that we're discussing is people comment and argue like anything, yeah? But they don't realise that I'm there to share the evidence. I'm not there to have an opinion.
Yes.
I'm there sharing documents, reading it out. These people that comment on the Greenfees case is what I'm talking about, are just ex-employees, disgruntled employees, and they have such an opinion, right? And they act like they're well informed and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, but they never listen to the fact that we're actually reading out court documents.
Yeah.
Which I don't get. You have no weight, in my opinion, or in my mind, if you're not willing to listen to us reading out court documents, explaining why Gillian Levers shouldn't be in jail. And it's not the difference is in your case is I don't get any of that with your case. All I get is positive messages. On the Greenfees case, I get abuse, which, quite frankly, I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that's, like that fellow investor that wrote that letter in the last chat. It's absolutely stupid saying that Veron didn't exist and it didn't do anything invest in Greece when we've got all the evidence that it was a full-on project for 2 years trying to raise the 19 million, and it was bought in 2008 for over 18 months before that. Of course, it was all genuine. And like this document that we're coming up now, this is the company's house document. This is where John Jessup is registering Veron UK Limited in preparation for us going on the UK plus market. This costs money, and obviously putting the assets into the plus market and buying shares and all the rest, it costs money. We knew exactly what we were doing. If you go back to the Sue What bogus emails, they said Ralph is so far-fetched, he thinks he can float on the UK plus market. Well, now we'll go through all the evidence of how far on we were. And this is actually dated, it's in July, isn't it, 2009?
I can't see a date on it, Ralph.
I saw a date on it earlier somewhere. But anyway, it is July 2009, and it's the company house number 6967551. Company name Veron UK Limited. Number one is John Jessup, puts his address in Derbyshire. that was also raided by the police 2 months after this was registered. A person named is going to be a director of the company, blah, 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 company's house, 1985. So the idea was that I wasn't going to be part of Veron UK. I was the chairman of Veron AE in Greece. And the idea was that the only properties that Veron UK could buy was properties that Veron had control of or owned. And we'll go through a full brochure of what they were shortly if we have time this week, if not next week. So this is what's going on. And this is July 2009. I have my first police interview as going in for a chat on the 31st of July. Then I'm due to go to Australia to tie up the Ministry of Arm job. And all this has been going on with Stephen Thomas and Simon Thomas and Sue Watt and Michael and Kimberly Thompson going to the police and talking absolute bunkum about, me not owning anything. It's all a con. I live a life of a O'Reilly and stealing people's money and all this. It's complete nonsense. So that really just to let you know that is what John Jessup was doing in July, and of course, a lot of people were against us there. So the next document then is the instructions from Darren Brown, who was going to be the chairman once we organise putting the company on the plus market. That was his job, and it's got the indirective costs of admittance to the plus market. Do you want to read that out, Bradis, or shall I?
I'll let you do that. Darren Brown is a magician, isn't he?
I think there is somebody called that, wasn't there? Yeah. Well, this guy was. This was the guy that Jeff Brown recommended to us, who had floated some companies already on the UK associated with his teaching.
How does that actually work? Does that have interest? Have you actually? I know you've not completed the process, but how does that actually work? Just before you go into this document.
What, the flotation?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we should read out, because that's exactly what this is. Darren Brown's instructions to John after we've just registered the company Veron UK with Company's House. So hopefully it'll be in here, but if not, I'll answer some questions when I've read it out, Brothers, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. This is here in, yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so based upon the assumptions set out below, our indicative timetable scope has been generated, which suggests that the transactions could be completed in the period of late September, mid-October 2009. Clearly, the advisors and institutional managers' availability will be impacted upon by the school holidays commencing in July. Therefore, the more we can complete in the summer holidays period, the more it will ensure completion in September, October 2009. Currently, there is insufficient information available in such detail as required to generate a firm timetable and costing. It is clearly, therefore, subject to change. Now, Darren Brown actually came over with his wife and his son for a 2-week holiday in Cockanahorio met John Jessup and Declan, my son, because Declan was working for Veron that month, and went around to various sites that we either owned or we had money on to control. Declan knew exactly where they were, and so did John Jessup. Unfortunately, I was in Australia chasing up the 25 million from the Ministry of Oman. So there was some pretty heavy stuff here in August 2009. Obviously, the police investigation started, but we're still full steam ahead, trying to secure everybody's money, even the people that went against it. You could even say I was trying to secure Simon and Stephen Thomas's at this date, but of course they'd gone down there. They had all the problem of the inheritance tax bill, which we didn't know about at that stage. So the assumptions are, the basic initial assumptions are...
Before we get to that, is the following one of our previous shows, the plus market no longer exists anyway. No. I know it wasn't relevant to now, but at the time it did exist, but it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, there were 3 levels of the stock market: the AIM market and the FT, which is obviously still going, and then there was the plus market for smaller companies, which we were. So this is what was laid out. So the new company, which was Veron UK PLC, will require a Cretan company, which is Veron, or selected assets as a wholly owned subsidiaries. The principles involve controlling the entire voting share capital of the Cretan company, which was actually me and my ex-wife Jane. The Cretan company will contain a property portfolio at various stages of development with a net book value of between 5 and 10 million. which is what you needed to go on the plus market. And we quite easily had the assets of over 5 million. There was no doubt about that with the Blackheath Palace Hotel. There's a Zakros land deal at 25 million. Keir was in there, all stuff that either we secured or we own. And being Keir was paid in full in 2008. We've had the receipts of that, and that's been evidenced. The Cretan company will be fully financed to meet its development obligations and requirements and at admission. Number 5, noting the above, the company will carry out a small fundraise at admission to validate the price attributed by Nomad. So when the company launched on the plus market, there would be like a privileged shareholders meeting held in London where you'd have canopies and wine and what have you. Darren Brown had these contacts, and we will say, look, this is launching, this is Veronica UK PLC launching. Do you want to buy some shares? The share value is this. And so that's how the company was started. And these meetings were already being arranged in August for when we floated. Number 6, fundraising marketing will be to institutional investors only. And there is no need to prepare a prospective requiring UK LA clearance, because Darren Brown already had the people that he knew would be interested in buying this anyway. So it wasn't as if we were going to start advertising in the press or in the UK for people to come.
So who's Darren Brown?
He was the guy who was going to be the chairman of the UK company.
Right.
We mentioned him before. He became a prosecution witness that Cedric turned in 2014. And he did start off to tell a few stories when he was in the witness box, and then he asked for an hour's break. He was actually on video link from his home in Reading, and they went away for an hour. And then my QC did quite a good job on him, and he came back and agreed that all €270,000 had been given to him towards going on the plus market. This was money from Roger and Carol Barnes. We've spoken about the money for Benedict and Matthew Clark, which they had a signed agreement for. Ian Kippax put some money towards it. Paul Compton did. A couple of others whose names slipped my mind. So it was all genuine, and this was all money collected around this period of time. Mm-hmm. Chris Hallwood was one that put 10,000 in. That's come back to me. Anyway, so the process, the eligibility criteria for admission to Plus are largely straightforward. For example, being lawfully incorporated and have freely transferable shares. This is the one area that will need some consideration. There must be a sufficient number of securities in public hands in order to ensure an orderly market. Plus doesn't offer formal guidance on the level, but would consider a minimum free float of between 10% and 25% to be sufficient, depending on the circumstances. As it is likely that we are currently intending at best to only raise a small sum, we may fall foul of this requirement. And as such, we must give some thought to the likely shareholder base and whether this will need to be expanded.
Who was this written to?
To John Jessup and me. This is our instructions in after John's registered the company. This is our instructions of what we had to do August and September 2009 to raise the capital and sort the land out, pay the taxes.
So what was his role in this? Was he consultant or advisor?
He was going to be. He's a specialist in floating companies on the market. Is Darren Brown, and we remember in a previous episode, Andrew Brundle was going to be the accountant. And the lawyers were actually formed. This is what all the money was spent on. And of course, you've got the other side. You've got Sue Watt and Kimberly and Michael Thompson and Stephen Simon Thomas saying this is all fictitious. And this was all designed with actually Stephen Thomas's help in April 2009, because this was a clear way of securing all this money that was in different land banks around Crete.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Is it making sense, Bradders, what we're trying to do?
Well, no, I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. See, yeah.
So the timetable, the basic requirement to take the company from engagement to admission to Plus within a 12 to 16 week period is achievable. Within the period we need to complete. The actual date we wanted to launch the company was March 2010. That was the deadline, which is approximately 6 to 7 months ahead of what we were doing here. So we need the full legal due diligence, the full financial due diligence, review of the title of the properties, funding currently or to be in place, possible site visits and verification of the properties, admission documentation generation, verification and approval. A full valuation exercise needed to be completed on the entirety of the properties. Various other activities, i.e. money laundering, etc. So I suppose that's just to make sure we were whiter than white. On the basis that we do want to add a marketing roadshow to outside investors, which is recommended, then we will effectively need to have completed the process 2 weeks earlier, i.e. before sending the Pathfinder, the draft prospectus document, to potential investors. The costs of admission to the plus market valuation. Clearly, in this current economic climate, property valuations are under very significant pressure at present, but hopefully easing. Obviously, this was a recession, wasn't it? Banks collapsing late 2008 and 2009.
Yeah, everybody knows about that.
Yeah. From what we are aware of, the net value of the portfolio of EU 5 to 10 million is all pre-revenue, and thus the valuation can only be on the basis of the value of the property in excess of the debt in the company and not of a future cash flow. Once further details on the portfolio and the capital commitments is available, an initial market valuation can be generated. The initial cost, it is impossible at this stage to give firm indications of likely fees for the admission to the plus. However, I would anticipate a range as outlined below, which can be firmed up upon once more information has been made available and reviewed. So advisors for the nomads, the nominated advisors, that would cost €75,000. Corporate lawyers, 35,000 lawyers. Corporate accountants, 65,000 sterling. Tax advice and planning, 30,000. Admission fees, printing and other advisory fees. In fact, we did pay 10,000 to set a website up as well, which has just come back to me. And this was 25,000. The Cretinal accountants and lawyers to pay 25,000. New UK directors, which would have been Darren Brown and Adrian Bundle and John Jessup. Transactional delivery to be attained, so we don't know what their first salary would have been. UK directors disbursements, travel costs, that's 10,000 sterling, which was paid for, because obviously I paid for Darren Brown to come over here with his family for their 2-week holiday. That was part of the cost. So there you have it. The indicative cost estimates, 265,000 sterling. And Darren Brown admitted having all this under oath in the court. First of all, he said in a deposition in March 2012 that Cedric attended, Jeff Brown attended, that we'd only be received 75,000. But
how much were you planning to raise, just out of interest?
Between 5 and 10 million, which was stated earlier.
So the normal fees for this sort of thing is like 2%, isn't it? That's normally what the charges are.
If we say we raise 10,000, it's about 7%, isn't it?
No, it's 2% normally the fees are.
Okay. Yeah, okay. The cost of the fundraising via Nomads circa 5% of funds raised. Assume that no sufficient audit work is required to be performed. The above excludes VAT, which were anticipable, some, all of which may be reclaimable. So Darren Brown wanted most of this paid in cash, and he was paid most of it in cash. And he admitted that under oath and what have you. And then when he was asked by the judge, Durham Hall, where the money had gone, he says, any of it retrievable? He says, no, all these people were paid. So, so I've been accused of stealing Matthew Clark and Benedict Clark's 500,000 in the signed agreement by DI Skidmore a month after we've been being told by the chairman to raise these capital so we can do exactly what we're doing. This is what makes it a complete and utter fact. This is a proper blue chip corporate company that would have gone on the plus market, securing everybody's shares in Placius Palace, Zakros, anywhere. And they would have just had share certificates. They could have come in and sold them and done whatever. So it's an absolute travesty what's happened to this company based on Simon and Stephen Thomas's having to cover up their tax bill. I mean, their tax bill was 3 million. This company would have grown to 100 million sterling quite easily within a 2 to 3 year period. Something exactly what Declan, my son, has done now with his UK flooring company. Yeah, that's got, they've got values that are very similar to what this, and Declan was fully aware, because he was working for the company at this time, what we were trying to do in Greece and what we were trying to do in the UK. And basically what he's actually done is he's got the flooring company that I gave him in 2011 and helped him finance and got him all his high credit ratings. He's followed the actual model But in the meantime, chucked his dad in prison, knowing he was innocent.
Lovely.
So, yeah. So that's the background to that thing. And then we've got the next, which was the, Darren Brown spoke about the portfolio in there, didn't he, of what we needed to do. So have you got the brochure there, Bradis, on the Veron 16 page?
I have.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? It's easier if you just talk through it because you can add your own commentary to each of this.
Yeah,
the only thing I will say, right, it's very basic.
Oh, it worked. It worked. This brochure raised 300,000 quite easily. This was produced by John Jessup in August 2009, and we went around various people. Pontefract Squash Club were wanting to invest in it. Many people. So it maybe it's what is it? It's nearly 20 years ago now, isn't it? And it probably was a bit basic, but it did the job.
Yeah, that's all my passing comment. It's very basic.
So the brochure starts off, "Welcome to Veron, UK," and it just says, "Why invest in Greece? Demand for homes and land shifting to areas of southern Europe offering better value. The most popular Greek tourism destination in 2006 was 2.8 million visitors. Potential buyers from countries around Europe and beyond. Significant commitment from Greek authorities to improving and expanding tourist facilities and islands infrastructure. Available of grant funding on qualifying development." It's got the development law number. So this is what we were already doing in 2008 with Sue Watt being employed and Michael Thompson. Crete house prices increasing at approximately 15% year on year in some areas of the island. Excellent capital appreciation potential with competitive property prices. So then we've got the name Monte Crete and Veron. We've in the court case, it came out how Stephen Thomas and Neil Waite and myself started Monte Crete in 2007, and then just used it as a brand name when we acquired the company Veron in 2008. So about Monte Crete.
Oh, yeah.
Monte Crete own many lucrative sites on the island of Crete, all with huge development potential, helping to develop areas of common use together with well-structured and eco-friendly villages, tourist destinations and business and training facilities, established to provide the opportunity for outside investment at modest levels alongside excellent returns.
Monte
Crete and Veron. Monte Crete projects and investment opportunities. Coconahorio commercial development. This was a little shopping centre that we were going to do in Coconahorio. So the land was half paid for as part of a deal I did on St George's Retreat with the accountant Veridakis. So that was one possibility of going in. Cephalus Seaview site, 15 individual townhouses. That site's been long finished now and gone, and they've all been sold. Keira Valley Gardens, 10 luxury residence villages. Well, this is the Keira that we've spoken about many times in the programme, that Mario Churchione, Adrian Clark, Stephen Thomas and myself bought off Alan Thompson in 2007, 2008. The one that he receipted, the one that went through the Greek court is genuine. And then the one where Alan Thompson turned up at Bradford Crown Court, where he said I didn't pay for it. And then he put his hands in the air saying that, you've got me there. Yeah, you've got me there. I'm going. So this was obviously paid for. Listros Refrenon, we spoke a lot about that in the Greek court case where Simon and Stephen Thomas both made a nice profit. Malamine, 14 apartments, that's long gone and been sold off now. Individual plots, so some of the smaller plots that we had. And then Veron, about Veron AE. Veron AE was established in 2001 specifically as a private tourist hotel enterprise and is based in Hania, Crete. The company operates throughout the island of Crete in the development of sustainable tourist projects in line with the operational plan of Crete and the Aegean Islands. Veron is involved in projects and owns key sites which endeavour to preserve Crete's natural history, flora and fauna, plus preventing the uprising of concrete jungles that are seen in other tourist destinations throughout Europe. Scroll down. Veron's mission statement: to provide Crete and the wider Greek mainland with quality developments, providing employment and training for the indigenous population, putting Crete in a position to replicate the projects using their models as a centre of excellence throughout Greece and to the wider European community. So it wasn't only just Crete that we were going to do this on. The idea was we would use our properties to establish ourselves on the UK plus market, but this could be done in any of the Greek islands, Kefalonia or Zante, Kos, or even on the mainland. So it's very much had a very forward-thinking master plan. So here we've got the project and investment opportunities. Placius Palace Hotel, which we know about, St George's Retreat Hotel, which is the piece of land that I owned at this stage in 2009 that we were going to give to Benedict Clark on the 15th of December 2009 that Skidmore said he couldn't take, that eventually went to Peter Morris, who was the CEO of Howard Tennant on the 31st of January 2010 to clear off the debt with Howard Tennant. That all went ahead, but because of Cedric and Declan's lies to Pat Brownett in April 2014, saying that all the money from Zakros had come out in October 2008 and blah, 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 that Pat Brownett became a prosecution witness, got me 7 years for a crime I definitely didn't commit, that was then overturned at POCA because it was quite easy for me to evidence to the same Judge Durham Hall that the debt left Howard Tennant in latest January 2010 and was in the personal name of Peter Morris, the CEO. So that's the sort of setup that Count 12 was. Then it's got Lufus Flores Hotel. Well, Lufus Flores Hotel is Manfred Hill, which is a place you've also been to, Bradis. Obviously, there's nothing built on there yet, but this would have also gone into Veron, UK, to raise capital. So the story so far: investment invited from individual principalities known as the founders, Ralph and Jane Christie. Investors' funds earmarked against one specific development, asset and project. Investments by private agreement and informal arrangements. Example, Placius Palace, shares offered in return for capital investment. Ongoing smaller scale investments, opportunity through land and villa purchases through Monte Crete. Expansion of Veron into hotel development projects. The present, credit crunch and the general economic decline, lack of investors' confidence, downturn in opportunities for returns through small real estate investments purchases, the growth in international demand for far larger tracts of land and key developments on Crete, need for development funding and institutional investment backing, need for corporate structure to accommodate expansion plans and provide greater investor security and reassurance, spread of risk of assets under one new corporate body. So you can see, Brad, that's exactly what the plan was and what we were going to do then. And if it wasn't for them freezing the bank accounts, which of course you can't float on the plus market if you haven't got a bank account. This is, this the idiotic behaviour of West Yorkshire Police in October 2009. And this is the sort of thing when you came over, or that, if we hadn't had all this nonsense and rubbish and lies and people saying I'm this and people saying that, this is something that we could have sat down and spoke about and said, look, this is what the situation was in 2009. Of course, I've spent 4 years for nothing in the meantime. Now I've been out of the last 6 years trying to sort stuff out. But, we're back at it again now. And there's no reason why I can't continue what I was doing back then.
No, I believe that, and I'm pleased that you're able to get yourself back on a footing. But for me, like just reading out the present, it's all wishy-washy to me. The credit crunch and general economic decline, that's like a SWOT analysis, in my opinion, but without any detail.
I think what kind of happened, brothers, it's like when you know yourself, if you're running a company, okay, my carpet businesses, they were turning over $1 million or something like that. It wasn't massive. But I always knew that once you start to getting over the 5, the 6, 7 million, it's something that's very difficult to do yourself. And it just seemed then, yes, I need some help. People have backed me. They've got what they want. They've got the shares, and all of it. It's all genuine. And we just needed to go up a level. And this is what we were doing at that stage.
I get that. You didn't allow me to carry on, but were you finished?
Yeah, go on.
Right. Okay. Well, you go on to downturn and opportunities for return for small real estate investments and purchases. Now, the market, if anybody knew the market, I was in it 2008, 2009, 2010. And it pretty much went to hell in 2009. It started in 2008, but it went massively wrong in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
I know many successful business people in property that were bankrupted, and basically because the banks who did not have the money, yet they agreed to lend the money, withdrew the money. They would not lend. No banks trusted one another. It was unbelievable what was going on in that
Northern Rock, Halifax.
Yeah. I mean, the money market where they used to lend money to each other overnight, no one trusted because no one knew what bank was telling the truth about how much money they actually have. And if anybody understands how it works, it's just horrific. The banking system, it really is horrific.
Yeah.
And it still is now, to be honest. In fact, if anything, I'd say it's worse.
And that's the UK and America mainly. They were the biggest culprits. But of course, properties in Spain and Portugal dropped, and even Italy. But it was a little bit different in Crete. They didn't actually drop, but they didn't kind of go up because people here don't really take out mortgages, so they're not so vulnerable, and they don't tend to have credit cards. So the idea of the houses being repossessed was quite small. And even now, the value of the houses, they're still going up. The threshold now for a UK person to get their citizenship here, 850,000. It's quite a lot of money, isn't it, for somebody to come and buy a holiday home?
Yeah, let's go back to your document.
Yep.
The growth in international demand for larger tracts of land and key developments in Crete. Was this used just to send to people, or was this a talking document?
We used to go and meet people.
Presentation you used.
Presentation, we'd go and meet various people and explain it to them and say, look, do you want to give 10,000? Do you want to give 100,000 or whatever? Benedict Clark, we went to see him. He says, oh yeah, this is. And he knew about the police investigation because Skidmore emailed him on the 1st of September. Well, we went to see him with this on the 18th or the 19th of September. It would have secured all his funds quite easily. He fully understood it because he was a businessman. And it says, yeah, okay, we'll do a signed agreement. We'll move 100,000 each, him and his brother had in Bali, and we'll give you another 300,000. And we were going to give him 22.5% shares of the UK company when it floated in March 2010. If it didn't float by that time, we'd have given him shares in Veron, Greece, which was valued at that time at 3.8 million. And then, and if that didn't work, we'd have given him his money back. So it was covered on all sides. But of course, he got the fraudulent email after the day after he sent the money. We've done programs on that. So, and he kind of believed.
It does look a little bit amateur to me, Ralph. Right? I mean no disrespect, right? But I just noticed the final paragraph here on this section. The spread the risk of assets under one new corporate body. Now, in the UK, I don't know what they do in Crete, but what we do is set up SPVs, which are known as special purpose vehicles.
Yeah.
Which are so. For example, let's just say I bought number 1 Hyde Park. I'll put it into an SPV, and all the investors would invest into number 1 Hyde Park. And let's just say I bought number 2 Hyde Park. All the investors will invest in that. So investors in 1 Hyde Park, if that went SKU, wouldn't affect number 2 Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Was that the similar sort of structure that you had?
Yeah, well, when it says it, the spread of risk of assets under one new corporate body, the new corporate body was Veron PLC UK floating on the UK plus market, governed by the FSA as it was at the time. So people had obviously put some money into Zakros, or they put some money into Bali, or they put it into Keir, anything else that's been mentioned in here. So rather than them having their bits and property in there, the new corporate company, Veron UK PLC, governed by the FSA, would have been their security.
Okay, you got 3 minutes just to give you a warning. Notice, sorry. So crack on, you got 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So we can come back to this next week, of course. So then the new structure for an existing successful business, which it was a very successful business. Bear in mind, I bought one house in 2001, evidence in the Greek court, and caused the avalanche, and ended up getting 3, 8, 16, or however many it was. So the groundwork had already been set. Reflects the needs and the desires of the owners to target larger opportunities in Crete, land and existing developments. Allows access to capital for development funding to move key projects forward and maximise potential. Provides a platform for inward investors at all levels from public to institutional, predominantly aimed at institutional investors. Opportunity for private investment now through the founders. So, which is what we were doing, like, Bennett Clark and Matthew Clark and the other people I listed, they were like private investors that were helping us pay the cost of the float. And then they would have been, by doing that, they'd have got shares in the new company. So they were the private investigators. But Darren Brown was very much going after institutional investors. He wanted people that would put in, a couple of mil, at least, some like that.
Yeah, that's what I would have went for as well.
Yeah, and bear in mind, Zakros could have quite easily gone into this as well, which was a 25 million project. If we got the funding as well from Invest in Greece, that was 19 million. So when I talk about the cap here of between 7 and 10 million, in no time at all, we would have got up to what the trial values were, which was the 50 million. And then, of course, once you've done that and you've got your sales, you've got your company worth 100 million. You're the chairman of the Greek company. Darren Brown's the chairman of the UK company. The UK company can only buy off me. So it was such a simplistic plan that should have worked.
Yeah. We're going to have to stop here now. You got 30 seconds to say your final words, then introduce your closing song.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered a great deal of lot. We've got very interesting, that investors letter, wasn't it? Completely nonsense, talking about in 2013 about the Greek trial, about Veron not existing. We've got the right decision from the Greek courts. Now we've gone through what we were trying to do in the UK. But of course, you've just got it goes back again to Simon using me in 2006 to hide the money from Jane Thomas, the father dying, their tax bill, and that's basically what kind of scuppered everything. Okay.
Do you want to say your final song, and if there's any reason for it?
Yeah, Inner Circle and the song is called Bad Boys, and there's plenty of bad boys here that we've exposed on this radio program, probably from episode 1 all the way through. Yeah, Bad Boys, Inner Circle.
Okay, we're going to play that now.
You gonna do? Yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If you get hot, then you must get cool. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother and you chuck it on your father, you chuck it on your brother and you chuck it on your sister, you chuck it on that one and you chuck it on me. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Nobody now give you no break. Police now give you no break. That old soldier man I give you no break. Not even your eyes now give you no breaks. Well, hey, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you I know sometimes you wanna let go. Hey, 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 I know sometimes you wanna let go. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You're too bad, you're too rude, you're too bad, you're too rude, yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother and you chuck it on your father, you chuck it on your brother and you chuck it on your sister, you chuck it on that one and you chuck it on me. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do